the journey looks a little like this. We get into business for the first time. And I call this the oop shit phase. No, the the oop shit phase. Well, it's kind of fitting when you think about it. It's like, oop shit, what have I done? But I call it the uninformed optimistic stage. Now, I think being an uninformed optimist is incredibly important when it comes to starting a business. It's what I call the honeymoon phase. Because it's oftentimes it's what's required in order to get the momentum that we need to get where we would want to go. Because if we actually came into business knowing what we're in for, okay, who now, on reflection, goes, maybe I shouldn't have got into business? But who's still glad that you did, right? We require the uninformed optimistic stage in order to become deluded enough to think that we can do it. But we also need to be conscious of how intoxicating that phase is. That phase is intoxicating because who remembers when you first started your business? And you were like, I am going to conquer the fucking world. I'm going to cry. I'm going to roar. Or whatever your energy that you bring to business. But who remembers that phase where you're like, oh, I am just going to fucking own this. Own it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be in like 55 countries in the next 6 months. 3 billion in revenue by year 4. Richard Branson's going to invest in me. Such a nice feeling, yeah? Because you feel like anything is possible. It's like being in love. And the feeling of being in love, it's actually such an incredibly powerful chemical response in the brain that people become addicted to being in love. They call them love addicts. And love addicts will typically go from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship. And do you know what they're looking for in every relationship? The honeymoon phase. And, because when you first meet someone new that you like, you're lying down in bed, they're sleeping beside you, you go, oh, gosh, I just love the way that their nose whistles when they sleep. It's so cute. Month 6, you're looking at them going, I could fucking smother you right now. I could. No one would know. It would look like an accident. Or I know I could make it. There's a great book by a guy called David Snarch called Passionate Marriage, and he says an incredibly powerful statement where he says, marriage starts when the problems do. Marriage starts when the problems do. People go, well, fuck, I thought, if a good marriage has no problems. No. Business starts when the problems do. But the challenge that most people have is they become uninformed optimists. They get in like, yeah, I can do anything, I can conquer the world. And then something comes along and it just fucking takes them out, and they become this informed skeptic. Who knows some informed skeptics? Like they're the most fucking smartest skeptics you've ever met. They can tell you every reason why things won't work. Now, this is an incredibly defining moment for many entrepreneurs because when you're in the informed skeptic stage, you're skeptical. You no longer have this optimism that you once had, the belief that anything is possible anymore. Things start to become real. There's a gravity to things. You're like, shit, this is a lot more difficult. Can anyone remember when that actually happened for them? I call it the realization event, where you go from uninformed optimist to informed skeptic. In some cases, it can happen overnight. Some cases, it can happen over a series of days, weeks, months. But typically, there's a series of events or a significant event that makes people go, oh, holy crap. And they wake up and they look around and go, fuck, I've been living in a dream. Who can relate to what I'm talking about here on some level, right? This is the defining moment because it's at this point where success is chosen. Because most people go, well, I don't want to be convicted of murder. I don't want to smother you. So rather than me deal with your whistling nose, I'm just going to go and find someone else who doesn't have a whistling nose. So they go and find someone else, and they start a new relationship. And the same is in business. Because most people, when they hit this stage, they don't go, oh, my gosh, there's something wrong with me. They go, oh, shit, this business is, clearly the business's problem. The product, the business, the market, the economy, fucking prime minister. Like, oh, it's got to be Trump. Who knows what I'm talking about here? But in most cases, where do most people not look when the shit hits the fan the first time? They don't look at themselves because they want to play the blame game because that's easier. And they go, well, I'm fucking perfect because I'm amazing. So what I'm going to do is, rather than me work on me, I'm just going to go and find another business. And I'm going to start again. Who's seen that before? Okay? And as a result, you've got people jumping from one business. 6 months later, fuck, that doesn't work. I'll jump to another business. Oh, fuck, 6 months later, that didn't work. I'll jump to another business. Because what do you think is the ultimate goal? I want to make $1 million. And if they're not making it after 6 months, then they're ready to move on. And what this becomes is a cycle. And I call this a cycle of failure, where you constantly are repeating the same mistakes, the only difference being you're doing it in a different business. You're doing it in a different product. You know, it's like these people that are constantly chasing that one relationship, taking the same baggage with them to every relationship, not realizing that they're the same person. And the common denominator, you know, the only common denominator in their last 15 relationships over the last 20 years is fucking them. But that creates a level of consciousness and awareness that for some people might be a little bit uncomfortable. But what I'm telling you is that's where you need to go.